Off and on the clock. It is August 11th, and boy, do we have all kinds of news to sift through. We have new contests. And today, though, we want to tackle the big Eliminator. We've done a couple of shows on the regular Eliminator, which is quickly filling, by the way. I don't know if that thing's going to be open for more than another week, but we do have the big Elim. It's a $100 entry, really fun contest, slightly different structure than the traditional Elim. So we'll talk through kind of the strategic shifts you'll want to make in that. And then naturally, we will hop in a big Eliminator draft. I'm Pete with John and Nez. This is Off and On the Clock. All right. Nez will be here in a second. He is tech lording right now, but we got John here in the saddle, ready to roll. Drinking. Are you drinking from the fire hose of camp information right now, John?
I'm trying not to. I'm excited for some real ball to be played on Thursday. I mean, I'm enjoying scrolling the timeline and seeing a bunch of football related content, but I'm not trying to get too high or too low right now. I'm not trying to victory lap any groin tweaks right now. I'm gonna let it play out as it goes here. I don't know. I made a little tweet this morning I was reading Herzig's email this morning. Yeah, and he's talking about like the loudness map, and I was like, this perfectly encapsulates how I'm feeling right now. Is just, the drum beat is a little bit louder from certain pockets of the internet right now.
Yeah, I'll pull that up real quick. That was as someone who writes about this stuff most days. What's up, Nez? We are just talking about the Herzig post here of certain drum beats from camps being louder, and that might not necessarily being indicative of a true drum beat, and just some camps are louder, whether their beat reporters have a bigger platform or what have you. And so he put together kind of a loudness map, loud and rising. He called it the loudness tax zone. So teams like New England, Dallas, Denver, Washington, and then, on the other side, teams like Miami, Las Vegas, New Orleans. Poor Nick Underhill has to put that entire beat on his back. But yeah, this is a really good shout from him, especially in the era of social media where often buzz is driven by whoever's shouting the loudest or shouting the most.
Yeah, well said. This is a really interesting chart for sure. I read, I'm a FFN60 sub. Herzig does a really good job with that. And I thought this was really interesting too. I don't know that I'm like totally aligned with the way that he, I guess, describes some of these, beats and stuff. I guess it's just like your own temperature, like how receptive you are to like the people that you read and whatnot. So like for me, like New Orleans, if I hear something from Underhill, I'm going to be like pretty intrigued, but like he's more fair and less just like loud and, about it. But we were kind of talking about this the other day about in regards to Jags news and just how much Tootin hype there was. And, we love John Shipley, man. And it's just like, are these beats just putting out, stuff of what we want to hear because they know it'll circulate versus like how much of this is like 100% true. Some of these guys maybe tapped into a fault was kind of like what we concluded with, but this was awesome. No, I really did enjoy this, and it's fun to think about too.
Well, I think it's a good point too, where the incentives for these guys, right? The beat reporters, it's the fantasy sickos who not only consume it, but it gets aggregated by sites like RotoWorld, Underdog, the Zanes of the world, which shout out Zane, now a contributor over at Fantasy Life from all of his beat reporter hawking. But you can now tell that they are incentivized to speculate on things that are relevant for fantasy too. Like I've noticed that where they take more leaps, even going back to the initial Alec Pierce contract extension, there was the thing where he's like, I project him to get 10 to 14 targets a game now. And it's like, okay, you could say Alec Pierce gets a contract. The fantasy people aren't necessarily going to pick that up, but you say you're going to get 10 to 14 targets a game. And now we all have to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
We saw it firsthand yesterday with Mike McDaniel at the podium, right? Wasn't that he's talking about the asking about that clip recirculated again from his time in Miami, and then talking about the Chargers guys as well. That this feels like a fantasy related question kind of thing.
Yeah, he addressed us by name. You know, he said the fantasy bros aren't going to like this, and I said,
Yeah.
me?
Well,
I'm fading your RB1, sir.
like there was another good thing that crystallized this loudness thing for me. I was doing, best ball breakfast yesterday, and I was talking about the Jacoby Lane, and there was the quote from the Baltimore Reporter said it's the best training camp he's ever seen in 27 years covering the Ravens. Which, holy shit, covering the Ravens for 27 years, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But then someone in the chat was like, did you see the new Jacoby Lane tweet that dropped? And so I go to my list to see it. And it's just Underdog recirculating that same thing, the best camp from 27. Right. And so there's this loudness, like flywheel effect to all of these news items that could all come from like those one single throwaway line. And yet it feels like there's this heightening, and you have to get in a draft and take fucking Parker Washington or Jacoby Lane 9 rounds ahead of ADP.
Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. The one that I was equating it to in my mind was the drum beat for the KC stuff. So I was really interested on where KC would fall on this chart, because every single year there's who's going to be Patrick Mahomes wide receiver 3 arguments and the new guy in camp. Every single year I put a laundry list of them on Twitter the other day, of like going back to like Pringle and Justin Ross and like these archetypes, Royals, like those kind of guys every single year. And the running back too from Kansas City, it always seems to be a focal point, yet never seems to matter. And it's just like an anecdotal, narrative based thing, but like it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are now like even this morning, right? This Alec Pierce thing, the second shot, and then GM Chris Ballard comes out and says there wasn't a second shot. And it's like what is going on anymore, where we can't even trust this reporting. J.K. Dobbins goes down, and me and Pat are, hypothesizing what it means for Jonah Coleman. And then it's like, well, J.K. Dobbins is going to probably be fine, but it's just part of it's fun, right? Like what else are we going to talk about? And I think it's a worthy pursuit, right? Like we all want to find the next Puka, the next Kyron Williams. We know there can be some signal in some of these drum beats. It's just when a lot of the signals or the drum beats start to sound the same, it's like you're just overwhelmed with information that it actually is hard to parse.
Yeah, it's a big time vet your sources era now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Nez, any other training camp stuff that you're buying or selling?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of selling this Jaden Blue rise. I think it's gone way too far. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's like you can, the wish casting is like realistic. You would imagine they would like a more effective pass catcher, to be out there on third downs than Javonte Williams was last year. You would think they'd like to get this guy that they spent draft capital on, Jaden Blue, going and like actually playing, compared to last year where he just like didn't play at all. And you would think they would probably want to spell Javonte Williams a little bit. But at the end of the day, that's all just like what we are like trying to rationalize and think. There hasn't been anything to necessarily say that like that's going to happen. Like Phil Moffitt's playing just as much as Jaden Blue is. And we just now just decided like, hey, like Jaden Blue like isn't dead. He's not dust. Therefore, like welcome to the 14th round. Like he's jumped like 4 rounds. And now this is like where he goes. And to me, I think that's where I'm gonna like, okay, I'm gonna pump the brakes there and and pivot elsewhere instead of chasing the Jaden Blue steam. I think it's reached a fever pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. And one guy I was talking through with Pat yesterday was Marshawn Lloyd, another guy who I think is just a bigger contingent upside swing, and I'm definitely on board there. I guess the counter to the Blue rise is that we are so desperate for running backs after whatever, call it the Woody Marks line. Basically now you have Pacheco who's injured. So now there's even more gap in there. So we're seeing Blue push up. We're seeing Bigsby push up. Brian Robinson is oddly falling. You would think he would actually be pushing up a little bit more. But I guess my only thought is like people need to take running backs in that range and there's no one else to take. And so people are now just taking their favorite of these handcuffs, even if the contingent upside isn't as good as maybe some of the other ones.
I think it's a byproduct of this like really small like 4-day window here where we have the camp stuff. We have more buzz in the streets because we just had the Hall of Fame game and we have nothing actionable until those games on Thursday night, because there's going to be targets that emerge for us for this back end where we're not all just fighting over the same 4 guys right now, because the same four guys is like Cyrus Allen, Jacoby Lane, Jaden Blue, and Marshawn Lloyd. Like those are the same four guys that everybody tapped in is fighting over in that back end right now. There's going to be some guys that emerge based on snap counts on Thursday night or reps with the ones on Thursday night. So I think it really is a byproduct of just this isolated window. But the nice thing I would say about Lloyd is at least the guy in front of him might get suspended still with an asterisk and is hurt. So like the thing, if you're just doing the Lloyd versus Blue thing, at least Lloyd's path looks a little prettier right at this isolated moment.
Yeah, he clears like for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about whenever I see one of these Dallas Cowboys training camp videos, there's a Jaden Blue one on the screen right now. This is the franchise in all of American sports worth the most. They're worth like $13 billion. And they are playing on like a beat up field, like feet away from a neighborhood. Like this is just like a backyard. Like Nez, as the Texas person, what is going on with this practice?
This has to be like a special thing that they did for like the community or something. Cause they have like, they have the Frisco Star, man. They have a gigantic, like state of the art facility where they do their off season stuff and their training camps. So like maybe a Cowboy fan can step in and say, no, this is what they do, but I'm pretty sure this is like a one-off thing. I mean, for all I know, this is like a junior varsity team and somebody just, well, it does say Dallas Cowboys.
It says Cowboys. I mean, this is just an insane location for a $13 billion franchise. Look at this field and this backdrop. There's people just fucking grilling hot dogs on their patio back here.
Oh, they're in California.
This is California? Okay, still, I mean.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know where the Cowboys do their training camps. Apparently, everybody did.
It doesn't change the fact whether this is taking place in California or Texas. It is still a crazy location.
Yeah.
I love how everybody came in here spitting facts and like, hey guys, sharpen up on your ball. No, it's just California. And yet the one comment that got me laughing was Jake's comment that just says builds character. Like just builds character to be out there, boys.
Oh man. Yeah. What about like the wide receivers? I wrote about a few of them in the newsletter the other day. Obviously there's the Jacoby Lane, Cyrus Allen, Ted Hurst, Denzel Boston's been getting a ton. Caleb Douglas is an interesting one to me. Are there any guys you're mixing in a little bit more now that weren't on the June radar?
I mean, I don't know necessarily that weren't on the radar. They were just like guys that I would mix in the 18th, as opposed to, all the time. And yeah, I'm saying this begrudgingly as though it's over, but like Pat Bryant for me is like the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because out of everybody that's like getting hype and like rising and steaming, he's like the one that's like still there. And like sometimes in the 18th, sometimes in the 17th, there in the 16th. And I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, Jalen Waddle will be fine, but Bryant is getting so much love from the, notoriously loud Broncos beat reporters, not to single out anybody, but then you have Sean Payton as well, who does tend to like blow a little smoke if like memory serves, but he's and guys get in front of Kay Adams and they say crazy things. So she was like, how are you going to keep Pat Bryant off the field? He's like, we won't. We can't. Like, like she could ask him if he could, he would have said anything.
No, I like the Pat Bryant one too. It kind of reminds, it's different, but it makes me think a little bit of the Josh Downs thing where I feel like you're almost insulated from some of the buzz. Like you're kind of free rolling the upside. Like I think I've been selecting him in 17th, 18th round, just under the assumption he's like the wide receiver 3 there. But the way they talk about it and the way he has an ability to, I think, earn targets at a higher rate than Sutton in certain runouts, then you have a lot of room to run there. Then you layer in contingent upside with Waddle's injury history and like him potentially stepping in to an even bigger role when he gets dinged up. I think there's just a lot of outs, including the Denver offense just being a lot better this year and throwing the ball well. So yeah, man, Pat Bryant in Bo Nix stacks. I am there for it.
Can I just say, yes, Pat Bryant's emergence would not be great for Courtland Sutton. And I'm not just saying that as like the lone Courtland Sutton guy that's holding the line. I love that people pretend that like this isn't going to be bad for Jalen Waddle too. If like Pat Bryant emerges, like no, it's actually just Cortland Sutton. Like Jalen Waddle is going to be totally fine, but like meanwhile he's missed camp and like really hasn't been like that great the last couple of years. And if Pat Bryant does break out and emerge, I think we could just see like an annoyingly flat target share, like a la Chargers last year, where we want Waddle to be our lad, but they actually can just spread the ball out crazy style. Like I think it'll be really interesting to kind of see how this all pans out. But at the end of the day, Bryant for me is like if I was to bet on somebody to rise in 2 weeks by like a round or two, it'd be Bryant.
Yeah, I like the Bryant one.
It's funny because Waddle and Burden are kind of similar. I guess, both 4th round guys, both very buzzy, moving up, both now with some injury concerns. I would say Burden's slightly more severe than Waddle's, maybe not. Definitely. We'll see. But it's like the people are holding the line, right? Like Waddle ain't slipping, like Burden's barely slipping. He like like if you see him in round 5, it's an anomaly. He went at pick 37 in one of my best ball breakfast drafts yesterday. But yeah, I think now's a nice time, I think, to cool off on those guys, slurp the dipperino on guys like Garrett Wilson, Ted Arroyo, some of the less sexy names that are now kind of falling back to the end of round 4. Yeah. Chat's going crazy for ESPN sources. The Vikings have named Kyler Murray their starting QB. I think we all knew that was going to happen. Is there still any lingering concern for you guys about the JJ McCarthy charade, meaning there is some late season bench risk for him?
I mean, for sure, because we've seen Kyler be bad in the past, and we're wish casting him in a KOC offense, obviously, but they spent a 1st round pick on JJ McCarthy, and just because a couple starts went poorly, if this team that has playoff aspirations finds themselves on the wrong side of things early, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you turn to JJ McCarthy? So I think the quarterback, especially when you're paying Kyler $1 million, right? Like Arizona's paying him to not play for them this year. Like they're just kind of free rolling the Kyler upside right now. So there's no financial incentive for them to play him. There's probably almost financial disincentive to play him because he probably has built in like bonus structure stuff. Like when we get to like week 17, week 18, when we're going bonus hunting, Kyler might be like a prime sit guy if the Vikings are out of it. In a vacuum, I think he's probably going to play well enough in a KOC offense for it to not matter, or I'd like to think that's the case. But if we knew that definitively, he'd probably be QB 10 or 11. So I think it's kind of baked in right now.
Well, and I mean, I know Crutches is like half joking, but he's completely right. Kyler better pick in a limb, embrace debate. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like if there's the late season risk, if Kyler crushes it, but the team is maybe struggling, and I realize that those two things are probably going to be, mutually or connected there. But I do think just you get to offset any late season bench race with Eliminator. Like, give me 14 weeks of Kyler kind of doing a Justin Fields thing, even if the team isn't great. You're probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
The Chad layering on, I was just looking it up as well. He doesn't have back end incentive stuff. So, yeah. Anyways,
runway's clear.
Yeah, 1.3 million. Yeah, what the Cardinals are paying him like 30 million or something this year. Incredible. Yeah, Kyler Murray will be the Vikings' 4th different week 1 starting quarterback in 4 years. Schefter just tweeted out 2023 was Cousins, 2024 was Darnold, last year McCarthy, this year Kyler Murray there.
So. Kept Sam.
Why are people are just like so fired up about this? We have an all caps Kyler named starter.
I love it, man. Yeah, dude. What?
Kyler news bomb? I think Alec Pierce not getting injected was a bigger news bomb than the starter.
Very, very strange reporting on my guy Pierce.
Let's see. Any other news and notes you guys want to hit, or do you want to talk some strategy for Big Elim here?
Strategy. Strategy. The last thing I was just going to say is like Jadarian Price, kind of missing practice, I think sucks. I was just, going on a shopping spree of him in my slows and just like taking them, gobbling them up. And, we got him missing practice, which they sound like not worried, but I'm worried. He's a rookie. Mm-hmm. You'd like him to be on the field. Not that I'm totally worried about Emmanuel Wilson and George Alani, but you'd like him to be on the field. And then you couple that with the Sharps bullishness, like in terms of his timeline. I don't love to see that. So I hope that we get a price dip, but right now it's like he's a really tough click now.
Yeah, it's not, man, that backfield. As Gretchen and Jacob just did their exercise, if you could know one stat line from someone, I mean, figuring out this Seattle backfield, it really feels like, when you considering the prices, that it really could be the key to the season. Like, if you told me that price was a non-factor this year, I mean, aren't you just taking Sharps and Holani in every single draft, like
right.
at their prices? And, vice versa. If Price is that dude, he is just such a smash in the 6th round. I think I just want to continue to be really open to, almost with the Commanders backfield too, where I like now kind of taking stabs on all of it. Like, I'm still interested in the Seahawks, especially if Price gets cheaper now.
Yeah, and especially with the timeline of Sharps right now. Like, we were all like, whoa, there was even a consideration or chance at week 1 with that first initial report. Like, we were all forecasting like week 11. Like, what if it is just minimum stay on the season starting pup of that 4-week window, and he's practicing as soon as like the 21-day window opens up in like week 2 or something like that? You'd be like, holy shit, what did I do with this price bag? But I was doing the same thing, Nez. I've been buying a lot of Price in the slows and in the Badge Bros Brawl. So I think I might have to pump the brakes a little bit there. Do you guys want to play like a super dumb fun game for a half second?
You had me sold at super dumb. Let's do it.
I just want to each say a name before this weekend, because we're going to have a bunch of preseason ball action, and we're going to have like some 17th rounders and 18th rounders that nobody's thinking of right now that are all of a sudden going to be in the player pool. So this is the scroll the F down. Like, who do you think after this weekend people could be like, holy shit, this guy went 4 for 40 and 1, and they get like all jazzed up about in the back end of drafts right now?
Okay, I'm scrolling here. You're saying like after pick 200, basically?
Yeah, I'll give you guys some time to think about it, because I obviously was thinking a little bit about it as I was framing the question, but it kind of came to me when we were talking about like the Cyrus Allen, the Jacoby Lane, the Pat Bryant. Like, if those guys, like if Cyrus Allen and Jacoby Lane, who are clearly going to play at least some preseason snaps, both go goose egg this weekend on like 20% of snaps with the first team, we're going to be like, oh, we got to rethink this kind of thing. The one that stands out to me is Malachi Fields, and everybody's, wish casting the neighbor stuff, big red zone target. What if he's just like the wide receiver 2 there?
Yeah. I mean, I think the best picks for this game are the rookies, right? Because we're already going to be so quick to wish on them. You have all that ambiguity in New York. I could see it too, right? No, a lot of people don't want to buy the likely stuff, although, man, the likely drum beat is actually kind of humming along pretty good too, if we're being honest. But yeah, I think Malachi Fields is a good one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm taking a lot of Malachi Fields right now. He's still available in the 18th. He's been flashing. I've been hearing good things. Beats saying that he's like we just need to figure out who the wide receiver 3 is, which I was like, oh shoot, okay, you got like 4 vets with like a combined like 30 years NFL experience. Like, interesting. My guy right now, I just lost him, and it's gonna like really irk me. Oh yeah, so shout out to Colton, who was in my solo stream chat last week, putting me on to Malik Benson of get hit.
What?
He's a rookie for the Raiders, and he looks good. Like he has a lock on wide receiver 3. Trey Tucker kind of has seniority. They just signed Jalen Naylor to big money, so he's kind of on the outside looking in on 2 wide receiver sets right now. But he's getting a lot of buzz, and I have it on good authority that he's dusted Deontay Thornton and Jack Besh. So
all right,
okay. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I am listening.
Yeah. So be on the lookout, man. Because like, if he makes a play in the preseason, like, people are gonna have no choice but to look his way, because it's Trey Tucker and Jalen Naylor as wide receivers for this Vegas team.
I mean, If you say you have someone else for me to bet against Jalen Naylor with, I'll just say less. I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
in.
I love that.
I did just totally learn a name today. Malik Benson. Had you heard that name, John?
I'd heard it because I went back and watched a little bit of Nez's solo, but I had not heard it before that.
Yeah, because so I was streaming just real quick. It was funny how it came about, and I was talking about Vegas, and then Colton was like, "Oh, dude, my Malik Benson bags are down bad," and I said, "Your bags of who? that's down bad already." And then and then I I paid him some respect after. I said, "All right, okay, I see you."
I'll do a non-rookie one. Yeah. I will tell you this: if Darnell Washington pancakes someone or stiff arms someone into the ground over the weekend, his ADP will just shoot up 2 rounds. Literally one highlight reel, it'll be like Fire Moose, not a thing. You can't take Darnell Washington off the field. It's just one truck stick, one sunning a dude right into the dirt, and he's like a 16th round pick. It's true.
It's 100%. That shit's going instant viral.
Yeah.
There's some really good names in the chat right now. People are going absolute ball knowledge on it. I like this one. One on my short list there was Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, yeah. People forget how many usable weeks he had last year. Maybe Jalen Wright just is dust, and we don't want we don't really want any part of Miami right now outside of the Achane and Willis. So I mean, yeah, maybe. Why not?
Yeah, there was another one. Yeah, people mentioning Damon Claiborne. Eli Raridan is a good one in that I do think we're all looking for a little bit more late round tight end upside. So if we could have one of those guys that become draftable, I could see one of those rookie tight ends popping there a good bit.
Bengals wide receiver 3 is a good shout.
Bengals wide receiver 3. Yeah, apparently it's not Yoshi Voss. I think he's struggling.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we went down this rabbit hole with Burton. What was it, 2 years ago, where we all chased the Burton dream in the late rounds there. He was the field stretcher, whatever. But yeah, maybe Colby Young and Mitchell Tinsley won't wear their pajamas to practice and can be the third string guy there.
Yeah. And the answer might just be Gesicki, maybe in a little bit bigger role. But yeah, that's a good one for sure. Just 2, because we've seen that contingent upside over the years when one of those guys is out and that wide receiver 3 steps up and gets 7 targets a game.
Yeah, exactly. It was Jermaine Burton, right?
Jermaine Burton. He was the one that was crashing out. He was playing slots in the casino and all that good stuff.
Yeah, good old boy. One of us.
Yeah. Yeah, let he who has not played a little slots cast the first stone.
To be honest, I don't think I've ever put $1 in a slot machine. I'm a fraud.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You've never done a single spin?
No, not a single spin.
Live a little. Good Lord. Yeah.
Are you from the Levitan school of gambling? When you're in a casino, it's I could not hemorrhage.
Stay from the pit.
Yeah. I'm very much like that. Even when we used to get banged up in Vegas after poker sessions and stuff, the only thing I would ever play is double deck blackjack with the boys, and usually it would just be everyone pools their money and I take charge and play it, and we all win or lose as a team. I never really liked the peaks and valleys of half the crew being up and half the crew being down, so I was never really about it. Yeah,
I kind of like that.
John is Gumby with a PR team.
Hey, if I was Gumby, I'd have a fucking dog bowl check, not a dog bowl qualifier, double qualifier here.
No, I would have pegged you for sure. Not as someone who just punts it off, but I thought you would have been I'll have a few pops and play craps with the boys.
No, not really. Yeah, I'd have the pops and hang out. I just never really gambled because I was I do so much gambling already, right?
No, I mean, to your point, I'm just more shocked that you've literally never once put a quarter in a slot or something. Yeah. But I don't find slots enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right. I did mention the PSA on the Eliminator. We are this is the main Eliminator here. 85% full. I mean, this thing can be filled 7 to, yeah, I know. Well, this is what happened is initially I had 15 or 20 saved. I was I'll do them all, fast in in August, and then I noticed the fill rate, and I'm like, I'm not going to have time to do this many fasts. So I jumped in some more slows, and now I have 4 more to do here live before they fill. So yeah, make sure you get your eliminators in. But we also have the big eliminator, which is also filling very quickly here. It's at 61% filled. This is $100 entry. 50K to first, only 2,760 entrants. And then the big difference is this is how the Eliminator contest was structured. I think when Underdog first did it a few years back, where instead of head-to-heads for most of the contest, it's progressive chop line. So, 10 of 12 advance, then 8 of 10 in week 2, 8 of 10, 6 of 8, 6 of 8. So a little less weekly or week-to-week variance, compared to kind of the head-to-head stuff. You're going to be competing against more teams each week. There are a few that stand out, specifically when you get to week, I believe 7 it is, when you go 2 of 4. That's where you get into that coin flip territory. But any thoughts on the big elim and how you guys have been thinking about it?
Yeah, I for me, it's sort of like business as usual in terms of like eliminator strategy for me. There's not a ton that I'm really changing, except maybe being like a little more open to some of the early bye weeks because of the forgiving advancements on some of those. Like weeks like 5 and 6 is 6 out of 8, and then 4 out of 6. So just being maybe more willing to take guys with those early bye weeks, and then obviously still making sure that you plug those holes. But I think I'm more willing to, just because of the forgiving structure of advancing.
Yep. What about you, John? Any tweaks that you would make here?
I no, I don't have anything groundbreaking to add there. Like, I thought that was pretty well summarized. I think just one macro thing is, like, we like to think we're good at projecting quote unquote floor. And, the archetype of guys we draft in the Eliminator are like the floors, not roars guys. I wouldn't get too hung up on floor in middle rounds of drafts, because that's kind of where rosters go to die. You can search for floor with like back end, tight end, and stuff like that, just because they'll project so much better on a week to week basis in the later rounds. But I'd be really cautionary tale of, like, we think we're finding floor with a Jalen Naylor ass pick in round 13. Like, that would kind of just be like my one macro eliminator thing that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, just like the whole bit of eliminator ass players. Right. I think I'm with you on that too, of this idea of, I care a lot about, I think, the structure that I'm building in the bye weeks. But I mean, even going through my eliminator slows, I'm still clicking Omar Coopers and Travis Hunters, and like, I'm trying to build juggernauts, because it is similar to Best Ball Mania in that you're trying to accomplish multiple goals. And when you get to weeks 13, 14, 15, 16, you are going against juggernaut teams, and having added juice injected into your roster via late season breakouts is a name of the game. I mean, we talked about it a lot with the Michael Wilson on a lot of those awesome eliminator teams last year. Like, you still need to find some of those breakouts. You can't just, a good example would be like, if you were always taking Pop Douglas over Michael Wilson last year because Pop Douglas projected for more week 1 targets, that didn't feel so comfy come week 13.
Exactly. Yeah, great analogy there. And to be fair to Chad in the chat there, it's not a Jalen Naylor take. It was just top of mind because it was a name we were throwing around earlier. I actually think the Naylor rapport with Cousins kind of matters, but I'll keep those thoughts to myself for a minute.
Who, Naylor? Malik Benson's backup? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, is there any? Why do you think Underdog does it like this for the big elim, as opposed to engineering it similar to the main elim with the head-to-head structure?
I think there was just desire for it throughout the. I don't think everybody hated the original elim. I think we all just agreed that the new elim was better. And I think there was still desire to have something that resembled the chopping block guillotine style league, and doing a time box smaller contest like this, despite the price point being a bit higher, kind of just addressed, both avenues, opposed to it just being a 10x price point.
Yeah, and I think people want to feel cozier with their $100
Mm.
and draft something like this, where like you feel pretty good about your chances each week, as opposed to like the coin flip of the elim. And if you did a big elim for $100 with the elim structure, what would you need to do week one? Like 11 out of 12? Like how you know it'd be you would probably need to be doing some big pods until you get to head to heads for the rest of the week, just because of the the size of the contest.
The
Obviously,
size of the con. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Crutches in the chat saying, for me at least, it's definitely easier in a limb than BBM because I'm less player take focused and just more focused on buys and structures. Yeah, so that same concept there. And then I was going to pull up here, just looking at the specific weeks here and where the let me get my screen shared, where the percentage are for how many people advance each week. I think this is a good thing to know for bye week mapping and what are the most important bye weeks. Here, let me pop us over so we can actually see this for a second. But yeah, so like at the top, right, the first few weeks, it's 83% advance, 80, then down to 75, 75, 67. It's week 7 where you hit that 50% advance. So I would circle week 7 as one to be specifically cognizant of with bye weeks. And then you go back up to 67, 75, 67. Then it's week 11, back down to 50%. And then week 14 and 15 and the rest of the way out, it's dropping. But just immediately, I would say week 7 and week 11 jump out as weeks you want to make sure you're pretty spread out at buys.
Yeah, and that's really important because week 11 is the week in which we have the most teams on bye. So we have 6 in that. And there's also like some prominent teams like Packers, Rams, Seahawks, Patriots, Falcons, and Browns, like all with top premium fantasy assets. And week 7 is all the kind of quote unquote elite quarterbacks inside of like QB9 and down, because it's Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Herbert, and Jaden Daniels in week 7. So it is pretty impactful that those 2 elimination windows align with elite quarterback play and good offenses that have high ADPs in them.
And one thing I'll say too is if you do max, it's obviously $1,000, and to break even, you have to have one team make it to week 11 and I believe win. So I guess advancing to week 12 will put you at break even. If I'm understanding that correctly, based on what my LLM is telling me.
So that's a starker cash line, but then easier to level up after said cash line with that week 12, 76, 67. You know what I mean?
In terms of like
it just means if you get one lineup there that you can recoup more than
faster.
Recoup more faster. But the importance is getting one there, because the EV of that lineup, once you get one there, is actually higher than like in BBM or something, when it's now like, okay, you got one over the cash line, but you still have to go 1 of 14. Well, no, you actually only have to do 78% and 67% there following. I don't know how you control for that, but it's just an interesting thought in terms of recouping bankroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and then Matt's asking a beginner question: how does structure change for a limbs? I found myself in rooms with 8 to 10 wide receivers, and I was sitting there with 7, feeling stupid. I mean, the biggest thing for me with structure is I do like the triple onesies a lot more, because a lot of the benefits you get from the double onesie or whatever in BBM, it's just a lot trickier. You put yourself at risk when you're guaranteeing yourself 2 weeks where you only have one player going. And so you're just far less resilient to buys, to injuries. And I think it pushes you to a lot of those 3 quarterback, 3 tight end builds.
Yeah. And the ceiling shot, like fancy zeros at like the flex skill positions, don't go as far. Like obviously if you smash with like the Michael Wilson pick, for instance, sure, but like the quote unquote fancy zeros of like Jacoby Lane right now, like you'd way rather just have the mean projection of Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah. Nez, any other thoughts on how your structures change in Eliminator?
No, but I have like a structure that I do really like.
Yeah.
And so there's like two structures that I'm doing like quite a bit. And one of them, and this is like gal brain, but I really like the way that these teams turn out. One of them is like double elite tight end. And then another one is like dual anchor wide receiver, and then just like hit every other position, like fill those spots, and then like make it rain at the end of your draft with nothing but yellow.
Mm.
Uh, the double elite tight end thing I really enjoy because it's just like being open to, hey, hopefully one of these guys is your flex every week, and then that sort of changes the way that you think about like the rest of your roster, and like putting less pressure on your flex from these other spots. And then kind of like the same thing with the dual anchor wide receiver, where like I'm hitting that running back window hard as hell, and and acquiring a flex there. And then after that, I'm just backfilling a wide receiver 3 every week, hopefully. And I really like the way that those teams turn out. I think that they make a lot of sense when they're finished.
Intuitively, what you're saying, Nez, makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it helps too with those elite tight ends because they have late buys. Like Loveland's 10, Bowers is 13, and McBride's 14. So that like also makes them like really attractive builds for me too.
Nice.
And I would say the other thing too, it's just like, I mean, this is kind of the meta across all drafts, but I think even more so in Eliminator, you'll see the ADPs pushed up, but like you do want to get your running backs early for the most part. I mean, just the benefit of, you think about in a BBM pod, you could let the chaos of the season kick in. You find that league winning contingent play, week 6, week 7 that breaks out, and you like slowly charge up the leaderboard. By week 14, boom, you sneak that team into the finals. Eliminator, you're not making it to week 6. Like you didn't have time to wait on that 0. And what is the thing that's easiest for us to project? It's early season running back volume. And so, once you get past the Jordan Masons, the Aaron Joneses of the world, you're taking on guys that just aren't expected to touch the ball much at all. And it makes it really hard, I think, to build good Eliminator teams if you don't have, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 running backs by that range, and ideally even more than that.
I think the most applicable application of that is you'll see that Kyron Williams and Javonte Williams are really pushed up in that 3rd round, whereas in BBM, like nobody really pairs them with the 101s. Everybody kind of does, Gibbs and 2 wide receivers or Bijan and 2 wide receivers. Now you see them with like ADPs and well, they're kind of in that like 28, 29 range there, which is just 5 spots higher, which means they're paired with the left side of the board guys. So it makes that double running back start on the right-hand side of the board way more attractive because you're not really having an analogy of the fallback guys to the other side in a 3rd.
All right, I say we draft, fellas. Let's get a big Eliminator going here. Looks like we need 6 people for this one, 4 more. And we will see what we can cook up here. I might download the Establish the Run Eliminator ranks as well, just to see kind of what they're cooking up.
Yeah. When you use this solver, do you have like the bye week overlap cranked up?
I hadn't adjusted. You know what? Actually, I need to do. I need to get back. I need to get to Firefox. I keep defaulting to this after. I'm such a Chrome maxi, but now with both Solver and Sidekick being Firefox.
Yeah, I know. I usually take and maybe you have different settings on Firefox, but I think I always have like team stacking basically like 0 for the elim. Like, I just don't want it incorporated in their in their scores, in their solver scores.
Like the net benefit of stacking is more bye week based than like the actual correlation angle.
In terms of like negative versus positive.
Yeah, in the Eliminator. Yeah.
I'm not really into that.
Yeah, I need my team stacking lower here. Bye week jacked up. ADP in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels good.
Okay, let's get in here. We have the 1-7.
Nice.
I'll get ranks uploaded in a second. JSN, Amon Ra, Genty, Lamb. You guys want to do JSN or pull up Genty?
JSN.
The late buy on JSN is nice too.
Yeah, and the fact he's going to wreck souls again this year and just destroy all the regression bros is just going to be chef's kiss.
It's funny because it does seem like people are a little spooked on JSN, and yet, like, I guess CMC flips him occasionally, but other than that, he basically is never falling much more than that, right?
I'm the new JT over him movement. That's what I've been doing. I've like a pretty stark JSN fade right now.
So you're the guy that Nez was just subtweeting?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess so. But at least he's doing it for JT reasons, which is like fair. I don't jump JSN because I don't think enough people are high on JSN. So like I want to make sure I take him every time at 5. But I'll take JT over CMC for sure.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit with Chad last week on the weekly winners show and why Jonathan Taylor makes so much more sense over CMC in that format. I think it's definitely an interesting conversation for Eliminator, where I do think there's a more boom bust element to Taylor's profile, where CMC's floor could be more attractive.
Yeah, he just like 20 points preloaded. Feels good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back on the clock. I do like Achane here to lock up a running back. I mean, you could also make the case for Bowers if you want to get spicy.
I'm Achane.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I do think it's like you're getting such a nice talent bet here. You can be caught here pretty quickly at running back. Like there's moves where Love, Kyron, Javonte, Jacobs, Brees all could go by the next time you pick here at, what would it be for us? Yeah, pick 31.
Yeah.
And then it just gets a little dicey.
Yeah, hard to pass up there, that last tier of running back. Just because, like you said, it's not the same as PVM. You're getting different options on the way back. And we just got a quote from the Dolphins head coach. I don't know how old it is, but I just saw it. That they basically said that hey, we might have to like carry Achane off the field some games because we're going to use him so much. So love that.
Love that shit.
So I gave him a heads up this morning. You better be in good shape. There might be some games where I have to pick him up and carry him back to the locker room because he's going to be so tired.
Jeez. Well,
that's be careful, man. You're just a little guy.
That's someone who's been having to watch Ollie Gordon get some reps at practice. It's like, all right, it's all you, Achane. We mentioned too, keeping an eye on some of the bye weeks. So we do have the JSN week 11 bye week, so we'll keep tabs on that. But again, if you get a team to week 11 in the Big Elim, you're also probably pretty stoked. So
exactly, he'll be a part of it.
We'll see what we got cooking in here. We got JGFC in here. We got Gunnar Gross. We got Crutches. We got Tubinis here. We got all Allen, all the friends and family.
Yeah.
Loaded usual suspects. That's kind of what I was talking about with the running back, like illustration there on the left-hand side of the board. You just don't see that in BBM.
Yeah. Are you guys going to max this?
I think so. Had a nice night at the MLB streets last night, so I think I owe it to myself.
Wow, that's a little treat.
First time in a long time, brother. Let me tell you.
All right, back on the
discount
class.
Still.
Rice, Devontae. I would be good with one of those. There.
Yeah, either or Olave.
Devontae or Olave. I'm out on Rice.
All right, let's do Devontae. Get that late buy there. I mean, I'm definitely a Rice bear myself, Nez, but so I'll let you give the Rice bear case here.
Yeah, I think when you're tie breaking Smith, Olave, and Rice, the week 5 buy, is like an easy, caveat to fall back on to just say, well, early bye week, but. Also, I think Smith and Olave are like definitely the more talented wide receivers that aren't coming off a jail sentence and an ACL or and a knee repair. So for me, that just means a lot. And you're like, and Olave, I feel probably better about Devontae Smith. So glad we took him there, just in terms of like target share that I think he will be able to command. I think Olave will still have a great target share as well. But if Tyson stays healthy, he's certainly going to chew into that a little bit. It's not quite as dominant as like Devontae Smith's target share is. But
Yep.
yeah.
So we
Round
start-
three neighbors, man, in $100 a limb. We're just asleep at the wheel. Everybody on the left side of the board.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, I'm definitely not taking Flowers over him.
God, no.
Let's see here. Are we feeling Swift would probably be a nice pick with that week 10 bye? Ladd is the slight faller here.
Yeah, I'm good with Ladd. I think we can backfill running back.
Nez, I think I'm Swift, so you break the tie.
I like Swift.
All right, John.
Yeah, sorry. That was hard to say no to. This room's gonna be so green. Like I don't want to take more than like one detour at a time at running back at the for the time being.
That was my thought. That Ladd feels a little bit more like a luxury there. I don't know. I'm also just getting a little spooked on Ladd as well. The more they kind of talk about this offense, and every Mike McDaniel quote is just, it's like, we're going to be spreading the ball around, and he views all of these guys as equal chess pieces on his board. And I just am more spooked that whatever kind of target share we were hoping that Ladd could kind of ascend to is just not as possible as we might have hoped.
Yeah, there's certain offenses that just kind of fit that mold, and like them and the Jags, where I kind of talked about it the other day with Nez, that I was like playing the Jags more through Tootin than the pass catchers, and maybe that's completely wrong because he doesn't even have a standalone role, but it's just like there's certain offenses that I want to be in on, but I just don't know how to play the whack-a-mole of the pass catchers side of things, and when that's a bad recipe for Eliminator versus like BBM.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that like rattling?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good. All right. The guy next door is. They have
unless
like some
that's.
water.
Is that Jacoby Lane drumbeat you hearing?
Yes.
McLaurin, Adams, Price, DJ Moore, Watson. Probably a wide receiver here. McLaurin week 7 bye seems fine. Adams week 11. Well, I don't know if we want to do that.
I'm good with Terry.
Okay.
Terry at 5.7. I mean, these are the 2v2s, right? Like John, of like Ladd and Price, or Ladd and Jalen Warren versus Swift and McLaurin. Like,
right.
I think you got to get that running back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well done, boys. I was leading us astray.
I wouldn't say that. It is. There goes Parker Washington here.
Wow.
Crutches grabbed Hendo at 54. Price goes 59.
Yeah, that just real quick, man. The neighbors fall is just, dude. We got soft elimination structures here, to start the season, and this is like a fresh elimination contest too. Where if you're like worried about like really good Malik Neighbors teams that got him like 10 picks later, this contest drop when Malik Neighbors was like going early. So,
right.
have no fear.
Yep. All right, we are coming back around here at pick 6-6. I think I love Ramondre. So, I mean, I know it's another week 11 bye, but at cost, this feels nice to me here.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, it's just a big line in the sand tier break for me after Ramondre.
Yeah. Like, I think Rico and Dobbins are solid, but man, Ramondre, I think, has a chance to do it early and late, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I really like this like running back window of the next 3 rounds. I would like to spend some time in that window if possible, because after that it gets like really, really shaky.
Yeah. Yeah, Crutches said he almost pulled up Mondre over Hendo there. He almost comes back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go Price, then Warren, Pollard, Stevenson, Rico. how do you guys think about stacking in Big Elim? Obviously, Jaden Daniels with McLaurin is like an auto click in the traditional formats. The stacking can sometimes be a little bit more of a bug than a feature in the Eliminator.
Yeah, I agree. I do it in two instances, and like they both kind of overlap. Where like I'll do it if I'm taking like late picks, where like, hey, I don't know how often this guy's gonna hit my lineup. You might as well like correlate with my quarterback, and then I'll also stack if I have like one rushing quarterback and then another, pocket passer or something, and then like stack that guy to really kind of get the best of both worlds there. That's really the only times that I do it, but I don't, I more or less avoid it.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there, Nez. And it's interesting that like Drake May was right there and Daniels was there, and they had the opportunity to, I don't know who it was, stack AJ Brown with May, and they opted for the inverse, which that would be like a auto click in BBM.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's see. I'm pretty Godwin pilled. I'd also be down to do a quarterback. I mean, Dak's week 14 bye is pretty sick. What do you guys think?
There's no running backs?
No.
Okay.
Harvey, if you want to take a flyer on him.
I kind of like Harvey.
Oh, shit.
Godwin or Harvey, I'm good.
I got Harvey.
There you go.
Cat had my tongue there. I was sort of like interested in a naked Joe Burrow, but he's fallen there a little bit more lately. But I would have been into that. But I like Harvey too. So
this might be a little gal brain. I think naked Joe Burrow is probably bad for isolated scoring and bad for advancing, if that makes sense. Like, because like the archetype of pocket passer that he is, if like Jamar Chase smashes, it's going to be stacked Jamar Chase teams. Whereas like if you're the guy who's showing up to the fight of like a 2 out of 4, and there's the reason you got there is Burrow go Burr, you're not going to want to go to battle against the unstacked ones in a 4-person pod.
I guess like how often is he going to be stacked? What's the likelihood that you actually face a Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow stack? Like the archetype of quarterback that I want in Eliminator is one that scores a lot of points, and I don't care about stacking. So to me, I thought it made sense. But
I'd be down for a Lawrence or Herbert here.
I'm Herbert. Herbert or Bill.
I don't mind pulling up Bill either if you want to do that.
Let's go Bill then.
This room's going to get stupid.
Let's go Bill.
We'll feel really happy about having 5 running backs and the RB5 being Bill.
Yeah, I trust that Nez has been deep in the weeds on this stuff, and this was the pocket of running backs he wanted to attack.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, so now we have Achane Swift, Ramondre, Harvey, Bill, only Harvey and Swift with overlapping buys there in week 10, and then we have the JSN, Devontae, McLaurin. I like this build a lot. Like the 5 early running backs, you get some really high-end wide receivers, and we know we're going to be able to spam volume at the onesies.
Yeah, and when you're less concerned with stacking dynamics at the onesies, you don't pigeonhole yourself to quarterbacks. Like if we did this in BBM and we're like, holy shit, we have no stackable quarterbacks left other than Darnold, and we got to force a back stack or we got to force a skinny stack. In this contest, it's just like take some projected points from those mid-tier guys and take 3 of them. Like easier to execute.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're doing good on the wide receiver bye weeks. We have 11, 10, and 7 here. We did see a run on quarterbacks, but this is a nice pocket coming up as well with the Brock, Stafford, Nix, Kyler, Goff range.
In a vacuum, if I was building a portfolio in this contest, I think I would want to be overweight the elite quarterbacks and underweight the whole middle portion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, man, Purdy would have been a nice one. Bo Nix, I like a lot.
I'm cool with Nix.
You could also do a wide receiver if you like one of these guys.
I'm probably Nix.
Yeah, I'm good with it. What was on the green button right now? I'm just curious for like general draft.
Running back, that green button.
That green, yeah. We're down to C-Rod, Tracy, Keaton Mitchell, Woody Marks.
Wow. What do you guys think about the 4 to 8 point a week guys with contingent value in this format versus like BBM per se? So like instead of taking like the Lloyd tier, you're more apt to take like the Brian Robinson or Algier tier in this contest because maybe those 4 points matter, or is that just like not on your radar? Because if 4 points matters, like you're probably dead anyways. Is it
I mean,
Fugazi floor? That's what I'm asking.
well, I think you kind of compared running backs that are like similar, like when you brought up Brian Robinson. Like I think Alvin Kamara versus like the contingency plays is probably, I think, like a better way to illustrate that, unless I'm like misunderstanding you. And I take, you know, Alvin Kamara and everything, but I like it. I prefer him to like the pure handcuff guys that could give you like 4 points.
Sure.
I'm willing to buy the Pierce falling
Yeah.
knife here. By week 13, the stuff today is that he's still on track. Like
He was yeah. I mean, I'm buying the dip too, man. We got word that he's not that he didn't get the second PRP injection, and he's working with trainers off to the side. He's actually like there on the field. So yeah, I'm buying the dip. It seems like he's like actually on his timeline. Week 13 buy too is nice.
Yeah, I think that's the way to play it. Obviously, his ADP is much later in this than it is BBM, and you haven't been really able. I guess I didn't do any BBMs today or late yesterday, but there just doesn't seem to be much of an Alec Pierce discount over there. So I'm willing to take the discounts here. I've been taking the Luther Burden discount in some of my Eliminator slows as well, like piling in on him in the fifth. In ways that I haven't been able to get him otherwise.
Yeah, I like the mindset with the Luther Burden one. I did see the Downs over Pierce a couple times. I did 5 BBMs yesterday, and I did see that happening. The other one I did see that I was trying to do was people getting over on Tyler Warren. We talked about having that accidental fade on Tyler Warren just because of the pocket of the draft board that he went in. So I forced it a couple times, and I forced it actually with some JT teams, and then didn't even add dimes on one of them where it was just like that's where the offense go burr those two, and then played other stuff.
I gotta sprint to the podium for
Kittle pass ADP in this economy. All right.
He's my highest owned tight end right now. I just did a portfolio check yesterday on stream and was happy to see that one.
I think like one of my neighbors, Godwin, Kittle, like all three of these guys, we just continue to hear good stuff. Like they're fully good to go. I mean, of all of them, like Kittle and Godwin, they're saying are like back to their, pre-injury explosiveness. Neighbors, I think, we still might be a slightly slower start, but I'm just drafting these guys with confidence now.
Like it, dude.
Who's your Godwin source? Because I can't find these bullish reports that you speak of.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I just included one in the newsletter the other day. I can send you some Pewter report.
On myself. Yeah, I was looking for Pewter report, and I swear, like I didn't hear like anything from them. It's been just like all Ted Hurst.
Yeah. I can pull it up for you, but yeah, I have zero concerns about Godwin.
Let's make this pick, and then I got a question.
We probably should look at quarterback to make sure we don't. I don't know how you feel about the Darnold with JSN. Otherwise, I think Stroud is just a different bye week pick is really solid.
I'm fine with Darnold. I'm fine with a skinny stack. If Darnold's one of those quarterbacks, if he goes burr, it has to run through JSN anyways. So whatever. And we're gonna add a third. I'm fine with it.
I love Sam Darnold, so
yeah.
I'm now seeing, holy Chris Godwin Jr., the Bucs veteran, just caught a wide receiver screen. His fourth target in about 7 plays from Pewter report. All right, man. I'll capitulate. Well,
it was funny. We did a show with Dwayne yesterday on Fantasy Life. We've been like working through his wide receiver tiers piece, and he's really bullish on both Igbuka and Godwin.
Nice.
And that was, I thought, an interesting signal there where he came away like he's uber bullish on Igbuka. Like I asked him where he thinks we could be drafting Igbuka next year, and he says like where we're drafting Lamb and Jefferson right now. Like that's how bullish he is. But he was also extremely in on Godwin because of like these health reports and just his long track record of just earning targets in this offense in the slot. that just both him and it's just like Evans clears and it could just be the Igbuka and Godwin show for the Bucs.
Godwin before he got hurt was cooking. And then after he got hurt, like that's just like the memory that I have is like seeing his twisted leg and seeing him like try to, he's like, oh, he's actually going to play this like last year. And then he did try and it didn't work. So I was just like, I had that in the back of my head. Denzel Boston for me.
Yeah. I was going to say, get a little of the drum beat here. Second week 11 here, but yeah, getting Boston some more upside. We got the 2 quarterbacks, the 1 tight end.
Okay. I was just about to ask, we get a hot recap right here for the audios because I want to play a little catch up here.
Yeah, we got Bo Nix and Darnold at quarterback, bye weeks 10 and 11. We have those 5 early running backs, Achane, Swift, Ramondre, RJ Harvey, and Bill, just Swift and Harvey with the same bye. Up to 5 wide receivers now, JSN, Devontae Smith, McLaurin, Alec Pierce, slurp that, Dipperino, and Denzel Boston. 2 week 11s there, JSN and Boston, but otherwise Rainbow. And then George Kittle, 7 picks past ADP there. So I think we're doing well here. We're going to hit a nice tight end pocket. The one thing to look at is the quarterback stuff. I will say, though, with the Eliminator, obviously Brissett is way more in play. I do think with these 2 up top, you can play the Mendoza wait. I think it's week 5, week 6 at the latest for him. You can play Geno, and I think you can play Tua with him likely to be the more healthy guy at the start of the season. So I don't know how you guys would want to play QB3 or if we just kind of punt that a bit.
I think we could punt it here. We'll see what tight ends come back. We're in the hype zone where it's like, this is like get your guys range.
Chig here seems real nice to me.
Who else is there?
Yeah, that's way past ADP.
Hawk would be the other one, but Chig is a huge faller, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't mind pairing him with Kittle.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Are you skeptical on Chig, John?
Yeah, very much so. But
even at this price, 162?
I think if you just had to ask me if I was building projections right now in a vacuum, I think I would take Hawk and Auten over him this year. But I was pretty
in big limb or straight up.
I think. I was just kind of speaking straight up. Like if you just had me build projections, but maybe that's just because I've never been the big Chig guy, and I thought he was artificially propped up because of the lack of WR2, and now we have a good one. Yeah.
So we add the thing too is some of those guys. I think we might be able to get a third here. I mean, now that Gadsden's falling a lot, Sadiq's falling a lot. Like I think you can put together these 3 tight end rooms that even do have a little bit more week to week volatility, but just kind of playing that game of hunting for big upside.
Yeah, I think the only way Chig doesn't hit is if they bring in Zach Ertz again, and then that's just like, God damn it, man! Like, why do we got to do this? Because
why do we do this again?
Because his target competition is strong. It's Terry and Diggs, but like then that's it. And then you have like Cade Otton, who has like 3 pretty decent wide receivers around him at all times, plus like. It's just like a much more difficult room to compete for targets. And I would say the same thing for Hawk, but Hawk has sort of like mystery box upside with this Kyler season coming.
Well, we've sufficiently fudded Naylor, 30 picks past ADP. Oh, there, Crutches grabs him.
I could do Jacoby. I could do Flournoy.
Yeah. I'd say Jacoby or one of the tight ends.
Okay.
Like I'm fine with. Yeah, is Jacoby's ADP right here in a limb?
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
I like that there. Nix, Darnold. I guess the tricky thing with Brissett on this quarterback team is ideally he's covering you on a Bo Nix or Darnold bye week.
Sure.
In week 10 or 11, it's probably like really close to the line of when he would be expected to give the reins over to Carson Beck or whoever.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he plays well enough that it's just like right into the best ball playoffs is when he gets benched. Like post bye, like they give Carson Beck that time to prepare if it happens. I'm not even sure that it does happen, but I'm hoping that he can hold the line well enough because everyone that has watched Carson Beck play is adamant that this dude cannot play. So I'm hoping they're right.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame game versus the insurance salesman, baby. One no-look pass in practice the other day. Kidding me?
Dude, I love these prices on these 3 tight ends who just went off the board. T-Ferg 177, Gadsden 178, Sadiq 180. Like, I think this goes back to what we were talking about, where I think some of these guys are being overly penalized in the Eliminator format, and you can bring them along with a good structure and then try to supercharge the team down the stretch, because, man, all of those guys have such nice upside.
I mean, the Gadsden one blows my mind because let's make the pick. Sorry,
I was gonna say like the Helm or Dulcich look nice to me, unless you want to grab this Flournoy dip here.
I think Flournoy, A.D. Mitchell, Pat Bryant, one of those guys.
John,
A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah, he continues to get buzz. Week 13 buys nice. Flournoy buy is nice as well. But get our
hilarious A.D. Mitchell tweet yesterday with all the Colts receivers being hurt and all whatever, and they're like, you know what this team could really use right now? Like the Colts team giving up A.D. Mitchell last year.
A.D. Mitchell. Yeah, he would be quite literally the perfect fit for what they need while Alec Pierce is banged up.
Unbelievable.
Crutches. Pat Bryant went 170s in this draft.
Lol.
Wow, he's already gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Obviously the Ferg beat just gets louder and louder, and Davis and Leone talking about it yesterday. But can we talk about Gadsden for a second? Like, why is he falling, and why is he falling in the BBMs? Because we're really excited about this offense. We think this offense can play heavy at times. Is it but nobody wants to take Njoku, and is it like the effect of whatever 27-year-old Charlie Kohler? How old is Charlie Kohler? I'm just making it up. But like, is that what's putting it down? Because like, we're talking about a rookie tight end who had like almost 70 targets and over 650 yards as a rookie. Like, that's rare in this day and age in the NFL. Like, we talk about the breakout age of rookies and rookie tight ends being kind of like the second guys to break out. Like, why is this happening?
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Please do.
Don't want to be big trouble.
Please speak.
It's the fucking Kolar stuff, dude. It's too. Yes. Yeah. People are very much out on the guy that John Harbaugh was talking up last year before he even played an NFL snap. No one knew his name, and Harbaugh couldn't get enough of this kid. And but they signed Charlie Kolar to the what was that the anyways, let's make this pick.
Yeah, so Dulcich coming off the board. I put Gesicki in the queue at the last second. Otherwise, a wide receiver.
Gesicki's good roars plus floors and contingent upside if anything happens to T. Like, we saw those monster games and monster target shares when T wasn't there. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a pretty big gap then to the Parkinson, Ingram, the aforementioned Kolar, Njoku, and then we can grab one more wide receiver flyer to close it out.
Cool.
Look at Levitan has me using the queue now.
I'm glad. I was sort of understanding him. The Josh Oliver contract is what I was trying to say. I believe it was the Josh Oliver contract.
In relation to Kolar?
Yeah, they got like the same deal.
I see. Okay. He has a cut option next year when the actual money kicks in, though. Like, he's getting $2 million base this year and 4 against the cap. Like, if he sucks this year or they don't like him, and he is 27, if they don't like him or he doesn't fit the mold they want, they can cut him next year for like very little.
Kolar?
The out is actually after 2 years. That's better, but yeah, he's worth $8 million next year. He's worth $2 million this year. The cap hit goes up to like $6 million next year. I mean, it's fine for like an inline blocking tight end. I don't know. He had okay receiving chops at Iowa State, so
what was that like pre-COVID or like at what point do we stop giving a shit about what guys did in college? Like,
right?
I don't know. When they have 41 career targets in the NFL.
I put Hurst in the queue. Torrey Horton, if you want the double stack with Darnold, Caleb Douglas catching buzz late. Any of these guys jump out to you?
Hurst or Fields?
Yeah, Hurst.
Oh yeah, what was your Malachi Fields after he goes off this weekend? We'll grab Hurst here.
Yeah, I really like Ted Hurst.
I think he's nice there. All right, this one's in the books. 3-5-7-3, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, Achan Swift, Ramondre, RJ Harvey, Bill, JSN, Devontae Smith, McLaurin, Alec Pierce, Denzel Boston, AD Mitchell, Ted Hurst, George Kittle, Chigakonkwo, Mike Gesicki. Yeah, I think this is kind of like the epitome, I would say, outside of what, like Swift and Ramondre are some eliminator ass picks. Otherwise, we took some pretty big swings here to try to build a super team.
Yeah, I like the approach for sure. I don't know what you guys think about putting like the condom on with like one last running back in this last round instead of Ted Hurst, but it's probably not necessary if this team goes far enough. Like what is, because I was thinking of two names in the last round. It was Vidal and James Conner were the two I was thinking of like that archetype of like, or Justice Hill, like those three where it's like, we know they have roles. We know they could have roles on their teams. We know that they could give us 6 or 7 points when you share 2 bye weeks with the Swift and Harvey stuff. But I don't know. I think I like.
I guess I would say I don't like. To me, that almost doesn't feel like a condom play. I feel better about these wide receivers.
Okay.
You know, hitting our lineup. Like I feel like the James Conner stuff, you still have to hit kind of a trade out. The Vidal one, I don't mind. I think the Vidal is probably the closest thing we have to like Holani, where you just like could get some standalone value there and pretty good contingent. I like the Vidal shot. I took him in a draft yesterday.
Yeah, I prefer the Hurst pick there. When you have this like running back room, you got 5 early. Like this is like you kind of made your bed here. Yeah, I think you just ride with this and take a wide receiver who can like catch a touchdown, like without an injury.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
The other one I would ask about, and maybe this is just me going a little too far, but I was talking about it yesterday in the framework of BBM, how like, what's the easiest position to fill with mean projection? Like it's the onesies, right? And we did kind of like a punt onesies style build here. Like, are the best last round picks actually quarterbacks and tight ends, and that we could build the plane in reverse by shoring up our flex and taking like Tua and Shedeur Sanders with our last 2 picks, or taking like Tua and Kirk Cousins, or like these guys where we're pretty confident they'll start with jobs and could just like hold.
The zero risk is just like insane, I think, to take 2 of those guys. And they share the same. And they share the same bye week. Like that's just
okay, sure, yeah. I was just throwing out examples that we don't have to get into the semantics of the bye week 1v1 because I didn't even look at that. But I was just like kind of like the mental framework of being like, we're taking fancy zeros at the end, and we're probably taking zeros.
But already. You can't take quarterbacks at the end because there's none left. Like there's no quarterbacks left. Like the last call for quarterback, like literal last call is like round like 16 in terms of like projected points in the first like 4 weeks. So it kind of like tight end, I'd hear you out, like all these like Parkinson, Mayer round 18, my guy Theo Johnson, not drafted. Yeah, I think you could throw those dudes on the end of builds in round 18 and feel like fine to good about it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of curious, like what it would look like in reverse if you did like, you take out the Bo Nix pick, right? And then you get like, something that's a little bit safer there. And you do like Darnold, Brissett, Tua in the 17th. Or you do like, I don't know, is it fancy play syndrome?
I think the Nix thing, the reason I like that, and you mentioned kind of wanting to even prioritize the elite quarterbacks, is because I do think having a guy who can drop 30 points could be very helpful, specifically in some of those smaller pod weeks. I mean, looking at this roster, to me, the question is more, should we have taken Bryce Young or Aaron Rodgers over Denzel Boston? And then you don't have to take Brissett. And then you basically have a 2v2 of, let's say, Bryce Young and Ryan Flournoy versus Denzel Boston versus Jacoby Brissett. Like that's kind of where I would think, like, would you trade off a little bit more quarterback security for a slightly less enticing wide receiver selection?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, this is just like a player take, but I think like Brissett and Tua have more, like basically the same job security as Bryce Young.
No, that's
what I feel though. Like that's just like Bryce Young's been benched both of the last 2 years.
Right, but there's a huge difference between the team wanting to showcase a rookie that they drafted, and
Yeah,
because basically then there's like the Bryce Young, the only way Bryce Young gets benched is if he plays awful. There are
Mhm.
scenarios where those other quarterbacks play just okay, and the team is still like, we're not in playoff contention. We need to
True.
see what we have the right. So I do think it is a different bet, but I hear you that Bryce Young has bench rest, but let's say it's Rodgers or Geno. I mean, I think
Rodgers or
similar
Geno
thing,
feel
right?
better. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's then just because there were some pretty good wide receiver values in this room. I mean, Crutches scooped up both Naylor and Flournoy there. That would be my only thing is like, do you try to not miss out on that window? But like, if there's a format for Jacoby Brissett, like it's this one. Like we
Mhm.
know he performed. I mean, what was he fucking slinging it 50 times a game when he was playing? That signed me up
Yeah.
for that early
Yes,
season.
please. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just I'm not sure I believe it at all. Like, I was just kind of thinking about like if you can build the structure in reverse, because my mindset is usable weeks is so much more important in this contest that I either want to be the elite quarterback guy or the full punt quarterback guy, but that might be too extreme. Like, that might be too polarizing a strategy.
Yeah.
Also, when did Bryce Young actually get benched, or did he miss like one game?
He
He
got
had an
benched.
awful stretch, but I
Yeah.
don't think he got like benched like he did in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the Andy Dalton year. I think it was only injury related last year.
And last year we had games, we had spike weeks from Bryce Young, man. He put up 328 and 3 one game, 448 and 3, and then in the playoffs he went 264-1 with 28 yards rushing and a touchdown. I mean,
right. My point is more that you can find spike weeks at quarterback from anyone, opposed to
No.
other positions.
we were talking about bench risk and whatnot, and then
Right.
but I know your overarching point, but like, dude, Tua could have good games with those weapons. I'll give you that, but
Yeah.
like, I think like the Michael Penix being healthy like does Tua like step to the side because they want to see what they have in the rookie quarterback, as opposed to Tua, who's just like there on a free ride. I
Mhm.
think that is like inherently like mad risky.
Okay.
Like way riskier than like, do we bench Bryce Young for Kenny Pickett?
Right. Yeah. That's fair. The Kenny Pickett comp for sure.
That's the trump card.
Yeah.
Well, he
Hey,
is only wearing one glove
have you
now.
considered that he's only wearing one glove now, though?
So looking back, like just not to put people on blast, but just going through
Let's do it.
what happens when you kind of ignore running back. So Tubin is here, gets CMC, does do the detour for Bowers, then goes Kyron. So now he's catching up at wide receiver, also does double elite quarterback. So he has only 2 quarterbacks through 9 rounds. He takes Keaton Mitchell at 116. That's fine. Then you pull up Bigsby, who we're excited about, but could be a 0 for a good chunk. And then you're now having to take guys like Holani at 173. You're taking Connor Pirine. Like, this roster starts to have like a lot of 0 risk on it, and like needs things to break really perfectly, I think, for it to kind of navigate this structure. And I would be wanting to avoid builds like this if possible, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I was trying to find usable weeks at the quarterback position at the back end so that we could build the plane in reverse that way. But I guess the risks of zeros at the quarterback position also don't make it fun either. So maybe living in the middle tier is the way to do it, like the way we built.
I will say this team. So the team, I'm mainly just looking structurally. This one's interesting. Creator here from the 12 did 4 quarterbacks. They did Kyler Jones, Rodgers, Mendoza, and then they only did 4 running backs up top: Henry, Jacobs, Scatabo, and then they tacked on Sharps late. That's kind of a funky construction. But I like this tight end build too. You get Warren and then Sadiq Parkinson. Like, I don't know. This team kind of intrigues me.
Yeah, it's definitely creative, like his name suggests. So it's cool. I don't know.
I mean, if you look at the other elite quarterback team, so JGFC, like, what do you think of this one? He did the just Allen, Caleb, and shut it down, but he did get early running backs: Cook, Chase Brown, Monty, and Monungai, and then he punted tight end. He goes likely Ferguson, Otten. This feels like a strong build.
That does feel strong. Punting tight end feels very strong.
Yeah, I really think there's like no wrong answer at tight end in best ball. Probably, I do think punt tight end is stronger in a limb for sure. But I
Hmm.
think like just tight end is just like so strong this year that I really do think that there's like hardly like a wrong answer. We were looking at Ty's team. Yeah, like at least he took 7 running backs there, but like, that is like sort of an example of what can, how things can feel less good when you do go elite tight end, when we were highlighting his team. But one hole has a pretty, he's got Trey McBride there, a little bit comfier with like the running back play that he ended up getting. I kind of like
Yeah,
that quite a bit.
I agree too, because I just think there's such a big difference in this window, Algier, Spears, Kamara, where I do think you're going to get points from all of those guys versus like this late window. Like, I mean, what after round, you get Samson Blue. I think they're going to have a little standalone role. After that, there's a lot of zero risk with any running back you're taking here, and then it's just like how many of those can you realistically add on to a team? I think it's fine to have like one, but if you are in an anchor or zero RB build where you need 2, 3 of these guys, I can't imagine that being good in this format.
Right. Yeah.
But there it is, the big elim, fun contest, and like we said, make sure you guys are getting your entries in here soon. 62%. You'll have a little extra time relative to the main eliminator, but people are hungry for these. We even had the Frenchie elim over the weekend too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of elim formats coming out. This elim is going to fill very fast. It is, rapidly close to closing. I have like 20 something left, so that's sort of my prerogative at the moment, and then completing my Badge Bros Brawl expedition, and then it's go time after that.
How many more BBMs do you have left?
90.
Oh, you're back waiting, son of a bitch. Love to see it.
Sweat Lord over here.
It is crazy because what Eliminator is going to fill in the next 7 to 10 days. Weekly Winners is going to fill in the next 7 to 10 days. The Slow Puppy's going to fill in the next 7 to 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, like everything here. Puppies ripping along. Pitbull. How many do I have there? Have we talked about this? Has someone come up with the alert? I need a Twitter account that has all of the contests, projected fill rate, and then like warnings of like, hey, T-5 days for the Pitbull. Can someone do that? We live in the AI slop world. Someone can code this up. I will promote you. I will shout you out. Can someone create this service for everybody?
That might be the easiest path to 50K followers on Twitter there is right
50K,
now.
50K, relax, relax.
Bullish on the space, baby.
Maybe
Bullish.
500 followers. Oh man. Yeah. What do you guys think? Because obviously they want to get BBM filled. So once the deck's clear on Weekly Winners Eliminator, I bet that fill rate will pick up. Like, what do you guys think the contest offerings will be down the stretch?
I'd like to see another Superflex once more.
Yeah.
One more for the road. We had the $3 Superflex and that was it, and a Frenchie Superflex. I'd like to see one more Superflex, and I don't know, can they squeeze in a 4th puppy? We've got almost a month.
Yeah, with the season starting a bit later this year, our timelines are a little fucked up because we're all drafting like it's starting at like September 2nd or 3rd, because we have this mental framework of like, oh, that Labor Day weekend and then go. But now we have all the way until the 9th this year. So I think we're going to get at least something else in that regard. I think Superflex would be like the easy and obvious, but we might see that in the variety of a Frenchie Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like people love, based on the fill rates for the Pitbull, the Chow Chow, the 101 Dalmatian entry, yeah. Like those mid stakes have been very popular as well. Hopefully we get a few more of those bad boys.
Give me $100 5 max before you give me another puppy.
Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. What do you guys got anything else going on today? Any Membies only?
Yeah, gonna push over right after this. Membies only baseball. Your boys taking care of that one, and then Nezzy and I will be at it again tomorrow. We'll do some football tomorrow. Probably a pretty heavy football show, to be honest. Kind of like
Yeah.
lighter baseball slate, and want to do some more football together. And then we will do football on Thursday as well, and may or may not be mixing in a multi-sport members only thereafter. A lot of my timeline in the next 2 weeks is going to be dependent upon people calling me of keys and go here and go there and sign this or sign that and whatever. So I'm going to be moving setups and moving studios and whatever, all while trying to keep our regular schedule. So I'm trying to plan it all out right now.
I should also mention, I know we've gotten a few questions about it over the past couple of weeks. We are going to have some updates to the masterclass, including a look at 2025 data, kind of comparing it to some of our initial data findings that we put together for the course. So if you guys are Underdog Masterclass subscribers, you're going to have access to all of those updates. We're going to have a couple new roundtables as well. And if you haven't gotten the masterclass, now would be a great time to grab it, as we are less than a month away from week 1 battle royales. It's all evergreen strategy concepts that will get you caught up to speed really quickly here with the Underdog Masterclass. And yeah, guys, I mean, we're firmly in best ball mode, but I could already feel it in the back of my head. I'm ready to switch over to BR mode. I can't wait.
Yeah, be mindful with your bankrolls, people, here coming up. I know you want to push all these last best ball contests. You guys are going to be blown away with some things in store with the first couple weeks of NFL.
Yep, got to keep some powder in the chamber there for week 1 NFL. For me, I got Swolecast up here at 3 p.m. I do think we're going to draft. I have Best Ball Breakfast tomorrow. It's a super fun lineup. So I've been doing different lineups on Wednesdays. I am going to have, Cups will continue to kick things off with me at 10 a.m. We're going to have Chad Candles at 10:45.
Hell yeah.
Excited to draft with Chad. And then at 11:15, Madison Parkhill, who does work over at Establish the Run, also has a great Substack, Reducing Uncertainty. And then my goat, Chess Liam, is going to back cleanup at 12:15. He left me on red for a while. He told me he'd get back to me, made me wait 3 days, but I finally reeled in my old chess coach for a draft. So yeah, Wednesday Best Ball Breakfast will be fun. And then Wednesday afternoon, we're doing that main event draft with Ron Stewart over on the Ship Chasing channel. Thursday, Best Ball Bash and randomizer with Ian Hartitz, the only randomizer guest to make an appearance on all 7 seasons of the randomizer.
Wow.
So we will keep that streak alive. And while I'm doing it, I just booked Friday DFS After Dark, Best Ball After Dark. Easy from the Deposit Kingdom. It's going to be my After Dark guest on Friday.
Get the spins ready, baby.
So will you tell me what I missed it? What did he do on Chad's stream? I heard people referencing it.
He's done this a couple times on his own stream too. He likes to play himself a little DK spin it to win it on his phone. And the slots that we do not dabble in, he likes to crank it up.
But why? I heard references that Chad was visibly nervous. Why was Chad nervous and not Easy?
Because he was putting on to make like a lot of money on each spin.
And Chad was nervous for Easy's bankroll?
Yeah.
Chad, you don't have to be nervous for Easy.
Yeah, just keep sending Easy your $39.99 a year here, and he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, your subscriptions are going to a good cause. Terrifying Chad on streams, apparently. All right, good stuff. Anything else from you guys here?
Straight to baseball. That's it.
Yeah. All right, go watch John. Make sure you guys are YouTube members over on the Badge Bros channel. All of those members only streams you guys can get access to, getting those baseball streets. Nez, you said you're on a little of a heater here.
One day heater.
One day.
So okay. Yeah, let's go. I actually only lost a little bit of money the night before, and then last night I actually won some money. So yeah, no, we're feeling dialed. We feel great. Yeah, but John's gonna hold it down and give people the shippers that they need.
To be honest, I literally drafted the winning team on stream yesterday. 3-man twin stack with the one-off Corbin Carroll. So Anyways, the one I saw in the chat earlier here, a little free alpha for everyone on the non-paywall side. That Liam Hicks in the Pick'em lobby 426 or whatever at Sutter Health looks pretty nice for a home run pick to click today.
Spoiler.
There you go. Good stuff, guys. And yeah, if you have, we'll see what the lobby has in store for us next week. We've enjoyed doing, the weekly winners deep dive with Chad last week. If you guys missed that and are trying to get in a few weekly winners entries, I highly recommend watching that video and then also going to Chad's Twitter feed. He made that deck publicly available if you want to go through the data yourself. And yeah, let us know in the comments if there's something you'd like to see us draft. Maybe we'll have something new in the lobby, but have been enjoying digging into these side contests here on Off and On the Clock. We will be here every Tuesday at noon Eastern, at least for the next 4 or so weeks. And then we are going to flip our show back to Fridays for in season. And that will be, the 3:30 p.m. start time. And we will get you guys ready for every one of those main slates on Underdog and get the pick'ems rolling again. Good times. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat. We will see you next time on Off and On the Clock. Peace.